Mully Haugh, Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score. It's a delight to welcome in the Bears' new head coach, Matt Eberflus. He joins us on the Score Hotline presented by Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, home of the world's largest sportsbook. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Mully and Haugh, how you guys doing?
Doing well.
We are excited
Ready.
At the start of a season. And, I know you've had an off season. I know you've been gearing toward this, but officially the first practice today of training camp, it really does mark the start of this football season. How do you feel on the verge of your first practice?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We're certainly amped up as coaches and players. We had a meeting last night to outline this morning. We get started at 10 o'clock. So it's pretty exciting, and guys are all pumped to get going. And, again, this is a ramp-up period. So, we're on the field about 80 minutes today. So it's a 4-day ramp-up. And that's governed by the league. And then next week we'll get into our pads the second day next week. So we're excited.
All right, Coach, so everybody wants to know, how much will Roquan Smith and or Robert Quinn participate in today's first practice? And what impact will their decisions, whether to practice or not, have on your ability to start camp the right way?
Yeah, so those guys right there, we're looking at those guys in terms of where they are. Roquan obviously is working through with his contracts and all that with Ryan, and obviously that's been stated already, and we'll see where that is this morning. And then really with Robert, Robert's hadn't been in the program, off-season program, so we're going to really assess where he is this morning with practice, and then we'll go from there. But we're excited about both those guys. Both those guys are really good players, have played a lot of good football for the Chicago Bears, and will continue to do so.
It's fascinating because I think we look at the defense that you're running, and we were talking to a friend of the program, Dan Pompey, who said that he felt Robert Quinn was so important because the pass rush will help the quarterback. In other words, if you guys can rush the passer, that helps you in the secondary, that helps you with turnovers, whether it's a strip sack, whatever it is, shortens the field and helps Justin Fields. These things are obviously interrelated. How important is having that pass rusher in your scheme?
Yeah, it's, as you guys know, you guys watch a lot of football. It's important in every scheme. Just as our 4-3 scheme, you have two guys that can get off and rush the passer and affect those guys. That's going to help. That's going to help Justin, during practice with his timing and his running the offense, and also obviously help our turnover ratio and help our defense and our secondary. We won't have to cover as long. So, that's something that every team in the world is trying to acquire those guys, and we're excited to have Robert on our team.
Coach, I think we were caught off guard a little bit the other day with the news that Roquan Smith wasn't happy with his contract and might stage either a holdout or a hold in. And I just wonder, how would you describe the level of surprise you felt at the news, and how would you characterize his state of mind after talking to him?
Yeah, I've had great conversations with Roquan all the way through the summer and since I've gotten there 6 months ago. So, we're always talking about defense and talking about scheme and those types of things. And the contract part of it, that's going to be with Ryan and Roquan's crew. But, we feel great about where Roquan is, and we're excited where he is, and going forward, we'll see where it goes.
It's interesting. I don't know if this comes into play or not, but when you start talking about how you pay a guy, it often depends on the position that a guy plays. And a weak side linebacker is more likely to get paid more money than a middle linebacker just because the plays are kind of flush to him in your scheme. Are you taking any of that into account? Do you know yet where Roquan will primarily line up, and how do you come to that determination?
Yeah, so in the springtime, he lined up at our will linebacker spot, and that's where he's going to be, and that's his spot, and that's been a really good position in this defense, with Derek Brooks and
right.
And Darius Leonard and Sean Lee, all those guys have played that spot, and that's a hot spot in our defense. And those guys obviously have made a lot of plays. Lance Briggs played that spot here, and he was certainly a great playmaker too. So we're going to put him there, and he's excited to be there.
So you add two offensive linemen who have a lot of experience in Riley Reef and Michael Schofield, Coach. And I know that yesterday you were a little bit coy or guarded, and maybe you just don't know yet where they might line up on your offensive line, but give you some options. How much will you lean on them early on, because they are guys who haven't been part of your offseason program, but do they need an offseason to be in a position to trust them?
Well, that's a good point. That's a good question. We're using this as a ramp up. The league is, but with these guys that are just coming in, basically here for 2 days, we have to assess where they are physically. We got to make sure that we're doing due diligence there. Get them through individual, get them up to speed on the scheme. These other guys have been through it a couple times already with, the protections and the scheme. And not to say that, Riley and Michael, can pick it up fast because they're veterans, and they will. But these first couple of days, we're going to really assess where they are. And, can Riley play left tackle? Yeah. Can he play right tackle? Yeah. Can Michael play along the line? Yes. So we're going to assess that as we go. But right now, we're just really physically assessing them to see where they are, and they're going to be fine, and we'll get them in there ASAP. But that's where we are right now.
Coach, do you have to talk to Justin Fields, or do you have to make sure he understands how to protect himself, especially if he's getting out in space? And we know that Fields is, he's got a lot of shimmy and shake. I'm not saying he doesn't, but he is a straight line kind of runner too. So do you have to work on that with him and make sure he understands that?
Yeah, no doubt. There's certainly we have to do that. We've been talking to him about that. Really the rhythm and timing of the offense is the number one thing we're trying to accomplish, where the ball is out on time. And then when it's an untimed down, where he's got to make sure that, hey, he's either in a scramble mode, that he knows where to go, hash number sideline, and keeping good ball leverage, or, when it's a design run, if we're going to use him and have a design run, then we're going to work him, same thing, hash number sideline, and then work him from there to protect him. So we're excited about all those schemes, and he certainly understands the rhythm and the timing of the passing game, and we're excited about getting that going. And again, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do up until the first game, but we're excited about it. We love the challenge, and we're excited about every unit, special teams, offense, and defense, gelling during this time, and us gelling as a football team.
And, Matt, this is the first training camp you're entering as a head coach, and it's great, and everything is theoretical at this point, but now you have to worry about the offense. You can't just focus in on your defense and the schemes and the personnel there. So offensively, when you look at how that unit can complement your defense and vice versa, in the NFL today, I think people don't want to say the words ball control and run oriented. They want to talk about the chunk plays and explosiveness. But are you leaning into the idea that the Bears might need to be more ball control and run oriented to make everything else work?
Well, I think just philosophically, I believe in a strong running game. I think that sets up a lot of the passing lanes. I think it sets up a lot of the shots. And I really believe in that. It really sets up a lot of things. And just from a perspective, from being on the defensive side all these years, I just know what kind of problems that creates. And we have some good runners. We have a really good scheme, and we're excited about where that is. And again, like I said, to me, that's a philosophical answer, because it is. I believe in a strong running game.
When you mention with the quarterback designed runs, I think that's a great weapon, and I think he's obviously a very good football player and can do a lot of different things. Does it concern you with durability, though, when you start talking about a guy who took a few hits last year, and, you love the man's courage, but you wonder about the wisdom of it sometimes?
Yeah, I think like we said before, it really comes down to how you operate when you do the quarterback disconnects. When is it called? Is it called in a short yardage red zone, in a 2-minute situation? Where we need a play at the end. When do you do that? And then how is it done? So that's an important piece to it. And then everybody understands. When we do those types of plays, how we operate, to protect Justin and to do it the right way.
I'd love the idea of having Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker play in the Bears secondary together for a long period of time. They are rookies. Everybody you play is going to know that. They might be picked on. What's reasonable to expect from those two guys and your secondary in general?
Yeah, so those guys are talented guys, and we've put young guys in the mix early, and we have no problem starting rookies. And those guys have shown so far that they are talented and they're very smart. So we're excited about where those guys are. They're playmakers, and they were playmakers in college. They're going to be playmakers in the pros, and we believe in giving guys experience. Because the more experience they have, they just put that in their file, and they just keep getting better and better and better. And those guys are learning, like I always tell those guys, that first year, man, you're going to learn so much information. And it's important that you take it in the right way and put it in your Rolodex, and then you'll be able to pull on that throughout your whole career. So those guys, we're excited about both those guys, man. They are both talented and playmakers. So we're excited to watch those guys go.
Matt, who is your nickel at this point?
Well, we're assessing that. And like I said yesterday in the presser, I was talking about moving guys in and out. We're certainly going to do that, So, we're assessing that as we go. We'll find the right combination, and we'll see where it goes.
Coach, once the CBA lets you get full pads on your team, and once you can incorporate contact into your practices, what is your philosophy with contact during training camp, and how do you get a team to tackle better without necessarily being able to practice tackling?
Yeah, that's always a great question, because first of all, the pads are so important. You have to be pad ready. So what we'll have is these thud periods. So we'll be playing the ball, in the secondary, but once the guy catches it and takes a couple steps, or a runner's just running the ball, we're going to thud guys. So we're going to hit them. We're going to wrap them for a second, and we're going to let them go. So it's important that we put the top of our pads on guys and get pad ready. That's the big thing. And then to your question about tackling, the drill work we do, we give a lot of time to individual, and the drill work we do with the defensive guys is so important. We do a thing called a hamstring tackle, which is a low tackle. We've been teaching that since '95, and it's a really good tackle. It's a way to knock a guy backwards or sideways and to really eliminate the hidden yards when it comes to football. So you get your 2nd and 8s and 2nd and 9s rather than that middle 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3 when they run the ball on first down. So that's an important piece to it, and it's going to be up to our coaches and our players really paying attention to that, so we're a really good tackling team.
And obviously, we know the hits principle, and we heard the idea of takeaways. When Lovey came in here, I was covering the Bears. I did not believe that you could just will yourself to takeaways, but my God, the obsession with takeaways actually works, and that certainly is your life experience. You believe in that philosophy. Do you have any set number that you have to get? Is there any amount that, obviously there's never too few, but how do you lay that out, and what are you expecting in that area?
Yeah, I have a set number. It's as many as possible.
Avogadro's number, yeah.
Yeah. No, but what it is, it's not just a one-time thing. It's not just the drill we do. It's not just something that, hey, let's do a takeaway circuit, man. This is something that we live and breathe. We do this every single play. And we're fanatical about it, and we've been fanatical. We'll continue to be that way. And it's good for our offense. It's great for our defense, and man, it's awesome for our football team. So we're going to continue to do that.
On the day you took the job, you told your players to get your running shoes and get ready to go. How much will conditioning be a point of emphasis during training camp, and have you seen real results already?
Yeah, I really have, and the guys did a great job. I really want to commend the players for what they did in the summertime. They really worked. They really did a great job, and really this is how we do it. We monitor and look at every single thing. So from individual to team periods, there's a start and a finish to every play, and we do that the right way. We want to be the best finishing team in the league, and that is monitored every single rep during the day. And what that does is, when you get the guys to start and finish and go full speed in between, the guys get in shape. They just do. And that's just the way we practice. We're going to practice with speed. We're going to practice physical, and they'll get in shape as a byproduct of that.
Coach, we'll let you go and appreciate your time. Just curious on the way out. Obviously, you come with a lot of guys that were on your staff in Indy. And when you look at it now, I think it gives you an advantage and a chance to get ahead quicker because everybody is well schooled in the scheme. Were you surprised at all? In retrospect, are you surprised that you managed to bring in as many of those coaches that Chris Ballard and the folks in Indy kind of cooperated with you on that?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm pretty likable, so they wanted to come with me, and that's no. But to talk about the scheme, those guys, like you said, are on the same page. But more importantly, our offense. The guys that we brought in, Luke Getty and Simo, all those guys are from the same family, and they're on the same page too. So we believe that's an advantage for us to be on the same page early and to get us up and running in our scheme. So we're excited about offense, defense, and special teams with Hightower. So that's really not just for the defense; it's for the whole football team.
Great stuff, Coach. Thank you. We really appreciate your time. Best of luck.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, guys, have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
That is Matt Eberflus, the head coach of the Bears.